Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Welcome to my shop. We're going through Woodturning 101. And this is Woodturning 101, Chapter 2 of Tools. Now, Chapter 1 we covered a handful of my favorites that's normally on my rack, but we left out a few little detailed tools. I want to show you those now. And I'm going to catch up with a few others that maybe I should have included in the first place. But we're going to get into this, and remember, your tools make your work easier. God, you caught that easier? And you don't have to have the big tools to do big work, and you can't do little work with big tools, or it's not as easy. Okay, now let's talk. What I didn't cover is I do have a store-bought negative rake scraper. Yeah, it's by Packard or one of the other manufacturers, and it's high-end, and it's got softened corners. In fact, it's almost the exact same profile as my skew. That's right. And it's sharpened to a negative rake scraper. Now, I'm going to back up one. If I can get it off the rack, because all these tools sleep in one spot right on the back side of the lathe. This is back to the skew. Skew! See? Alright, for you guys that, afraid of skews. Guess what this is? This is a, see if we can explain it, like Cindy Droza called it. It's a double-edged or double-sided negative rake scraper. Isn't that amazing? I got one and I got two. A double-sided negative rake scraper. Doesn't last as long as a heavy-duty scraper, but when you're doing little detail work, it works just the same. So, just figured I'd share that one with you. Now, other tools that I use a lot would be when I'm doing a bowl or a cup or a jar and I have to go down through the center of it. I like to know how far to go and when to stop. And I'll drill a hole. Now to drill a hole, that's pretty simple. You use a drill. Okay? This drill. This is so simple to make, guys. If you don't have a hand drill for your lathe, you need to make one. This holds up to a 3/8 inch bit. Right there. All right, now what is this? This is a keyless chuck from the hardware store, $12.53 at Ace. This is I think a 3/8 24 machine bolt from Ace Hardware store for 70 cents. And this is a piece of stock from my shop and a piece of 1-inch water pipe for a collar. 1-inch copper pipe for a collar. That's it. This is what, 40 bucks in a catalog? Huh? And you make your own? But that's all you need. And it holds your bits. And you can drill down for a depth when you're drilling out a piece. And it's a tool that's always on the back side of my lathe. I'll do this a lot. I did those birdhouses, and every one of them had to put a 16th inch hole for the wire stay. Right here. To get the depth down the center for hollowing. Right here. To drill a hole through the side. Nah, I can't do that. But hey, you know where I'm going. Okay. So that's another really good one, and that's one you can make. Let's talk about another one you can make. Now forgive the handle on this because I found a tool at a garage sale with a cute little handle and a nice little furrow. And when I took it home and pulled the piece out, I lost the furrow. Okay? But I made my own. I think they call them vortex tools or high-end 3-sided detail tools, but I made my own. This is a Phillips screwdriver. Pretty good tool steel, Klein, a Phillips Klein. It had been crushed. Didn't want to make a new handle for it, for goodness gracious. And I saw it crushed in a parking lot, scooped it up, and guys around me thought, man, is he cheap? No, I just got a wood turning tool out of it. And I don't care if they thought it was cheap anyway. Well, I came home and ground the shape that I wanted to get this 3-sided point. You talk about awesome for little detail. And when I like to burn lines on something, to set that line in, or to give some references, or take a little corner out of it, right there. This thing is awesome. It even works good on shaping up finials. Takes a little bit of practice, but after this, you won't go back to those other tools. You will. You make it out of a screwdriver. a Phillips screwdriver. Good tool steel now, okay? And don't overheat it. Suck the temper out and it won't last. Another great detail tool. This is a multi-tool. It's like a beading tool or a beadan, but it's smaller. Now this is actually trapezoidal shaped. You didn't think I knew that one, huh? Yeah, you know, like 2 equal sides and 2 unequal sides create a trapezoid. Common section in architecture and design, and geometrically, you learned it in grade school. But that's where it is, because then you get the relief of not, when you push it through something, you're not rubbing top and bottom. And this, the wide part will always be on the top. This is a 1/4 inch or a 6mm version. It's just tapered on the sides, and you touch it up on the grinder over the whetstone. It does really good work, especially if you got to do a little plowing something to give some detail. I like it. I like it a lot. I can't remember where the first one I used was, but I don't remember where I got my new one. Now, let's talk about parting tools. I have a full-size diamond-shaped parting tool up here somewhere. And it'd be a little trouble for me to find it, because I only use it if it's a really big log. Or a BFL, which stands for big freaking log, and that's a technical term. And I have to part that off. That's when I'd use it, because then I'd want a heavier blade going down. But most of the time, my parting is done with my Stott, or my 1/16 inch thin blade parting tool. This is made by Chris Stott. This is probably 10 years old and 2 inches shorter or 3 inches shorter than when I bought it, because it's a very handy tool. And if you sharpen it properly, and properly is, never ever sharpen these sides. You clean them with that 320 paper and a little bit of WD-40 to take any film or stuff that might be on it. But you never sharpen it, not even on a diamond stone, because the sharpen it changes the width and will taper it. And that's the last thing you want, is a tapered thing going into a piece of hot wood, or going into wood, which will become hot, and it'll bind up and it leaves, and where it ends up at is, well, I want to talk about that. Now, that's my Stott. Now, this is on the back of the tool, back of the bench all the time, but this one's on the front all the time. This is the one I showed you how to make, and I have a overly beautiful Cocobolo handle on a demo saw blade, and the same thing. I clean the sides with my 320 paper, and I only sharpen the top and bottom point on the grinder, down, touch, and that's all I need. This little puppy is awesome, and I mean awesome. You just can't beat it for a parting tool. I got a video on that too, on how to make it. You do want to make one if you don't have one. It's well worth the price of buying a demo blade. But you know what? Stop a plumber. Ask a plumber or a sheet metal job or a roofer if he's got an old demo blade in the truck that's not bent. Heck, if it's bent, take it anyway. You can straighten it out. But that's what this is made out of. Now, it'd be shameful if I did all this and I didn't tell you about the tools that I sell and I make. No, not really shameful. It's, I don't know the right term, but let me tell you, I make some great tools. I make a round bar, a square bar 3/8, and a square bar 1/2 inch, and I sell carbide cutters to fit on them. I make those tools. It's a fact of life. They're in the marketplace all over. But I make mine for about 1/3 of what they make theirs for, and I can help you make yours. This was my first version of a 3/8 inch with a round cutter. And I have the cutter that I sell now on a 3/8 inch square bar. And I round it one corner on the bottom, as you're looking at, the bottom left, so it's smooth going in and out of jars. I do hollowing with this like crazy. Now, I use the square cutters and some of the other cutters on plowing and roughing in on a big 1/2 inch bar. But my favorite for hollowing is right here. And I think you can favorably compare it to a couple of the other ones. And I started doing hollowing with the round cutter on Hunter tool. And that man makes an awesome, very awesome tool. If you're going for a manufactured product, he's got them. But if you want to save a nickel or two, I got them. Same thing. But that's my detail tools. You know, all these tools are simple to maintain and simple to sharp. Most of the time you're just barely touching up an edge on detail tools. There's no need to reshape them, reform them, or resize them. Well, might be a need, because if you screw them, you got to get them back. Oh, let me tell you about this. You go out and buy a brand new tool. Ellsworth gouge. After you sharpen it 2 times, do you remember what it looked like brand new? If you do, you're much younger and got a much better memory than I do. Because really, this, so I don't forget who I am. Yeah. Some underwear too, in case she doesn't forget who I am. Never mind, can't do that. Take a picture. Lay it on top of something and take a picture of it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's got digital cameras now. Pop off a handful and store them on your hard drive. So when you do reshape this, you can see that it resembles what it used to be before. Or if you screw it up or somebody sneaks in overnight and does it to you, you can always get it back to what it's supposed to be. And if you're taking photographs, and what you've seen all this displayed on is a nice gray, black, muted backdrop. Now, how do you like this? If you go to the photo store and you buy a gray backdrop, for $40 you can get a 5-foot wide roll, about 10 foot long, 12 foot long. You know, and it's gray, and it's paper, and it wrinkles. This is $14 for all of that. Can you see that? For all that? You know what this is? This is weed stop. This goes in your garden to keep the weeds from coming through. Yeah, look. Got a plastic backdrop. Yeah. Comes with this nifty little cutter too for cutting off a chunk. But if you're looking to take good pictures of your work and you're looking for a muted backdrop that's simple to work with, this is it. Go to Walmart and get some, or your local garden center, or even your home improvement center. And you can just drape it right over a backdrop on your kitchen table and take pictures. And oh, by the way, lighting's as important. How do we go from tools to this? I don't know. It's a road that just winds around. Lighting. Commercial production facilities use 3200K or 3200 degree or 3200 Kelvin lamps. That's what these are right here. These are from Home Depot. They're 3200K or 32K or 3200 degrees. Kelvin is a measure of light. 3200 is where you want to be. If you bump it up too high, it gets too bright. This brings out some natural skin tones and colors and will help make your work look a whole lot better. And that's what they use on regular TV stations. And they got to make those ugly people look really good. Why do you think I use it, huh? Okay. But the industry's changed, rolled over to this. And you can buy these at Home Depot. For me, I bought one 4-foot strip and a little tube, and I set it on a table, prop it up in front of my piece, use the flash, which comes out at about 5500 Kelvin, and the two of them soften it up and you get a really good picture. So, let me see. Anything else going down this road? I don't think so. Next time we get together, we may have to start talking about sharpening. And I say start talking about it because it's very complex, and that each tool has got a different edge required, a different way to get there, but they're all pretty simple to do. And if you can sharpen a pocket knife to cut your finger, you can sharpen a wood turning tool to cut awesome wood. If you're that mechanically inclined, we can get you there. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I'm making shavings. With or without your help, I'm going to make some shavings. You be good now and be careful. And remember, there's no bleeding allowed on company time. I was told that my first day of being a carpenter's helper. No bleeding on company time, boy. You understand that? You know, that was 45 or 50 years ago, and that man was serious. If you bled, get out of here, because I ain't paying you to bleed. Wow. I don't think you can get away with that now. You'd be good.